Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Third part of the spacefaring set for now. And I've already started an additional project, or I have additional ideas that I want to do, so we'll see. Right now I'm working on I'm working on the boots. You can see that I grabbed the wedge heel here. I had to alter lots of my heels a bit over the last days, and I'm still working on actually filling up my library back again with all the stuff that I made. This is still a time-consuming and arduous task, so I'm just doing it a bit at a time every now and then. But yeah, grab the wedge heel because I just thought in this case I want to do it. There's a part of Daz at the later part of the video where I actually show the weight mapping of this. I think I've already shown it in another video, but it's part of the progress, so yeah, it's part of the progress every time actually. I used the pre-made boot that I already had, the basic featureless boot that I made way ago. And yeah, as you can see, I've altered it to fit the new shape of the heel of the soles. And the next part was actually doing the shape of the boot. I wanted it to show the heel, so I cut out that part. Could have cut it out a bit higher actually, but it is what it is. And yeah, the whole boot is relatively wide because usually it accommodates the full body suit as well. In this case, I do not have the full body suit in there as well, so I tightened everything a bit to the actual model, or to the actual Genesis 2 female, which is still my main model. And after refitting the boot, I started working on all the details that are there. First detail that I worked on, or that I will work on in a tiny bit, is the brim for the actual heel. And you can see that right here. The brim for the heel is basically, I grabbed a basic grid, a single face, and then I used the extrude tool to go around the edge that is left from the cutout. So I'm trying to keep the whole thing together visually. So since I started with a very basic gray plastic, gray polyester design for the clothing, I'm keeping that with some golden finishes, with some golden brims, golden details. So there's some metal in there as well, and the insignia that I already made. So this is copy pasted into this one as well. Actually even grabbed the suit that I made last time and I resized the insignia because it was way too small. And yeah, this is basically the gloves, the suit, and the boots each have the insignia, but every time it is a different size. I also added some lights. You can see that like on the top, on the front of the boot. So the whole thing has some visual elements to it. There is the golden brim that you can see, there's the insignia, there is the light part, but I tried not to overload the whole thing. I also added this more or less random detail on the top. This is more or less just a thing to open up the whole view of the thing, because otherwise I would have just have a cut flat open top. Otherwise I could have made another brim as well, but I felt like I wanted to open up the whole shape a bit with that. I did some copy paste extrusion here to give another detail on the top of the foot. I made some concepts with AI again and used those as reference material, and one of these had this interesting thing on the top of the foot, on the top of the shoe, basically like an additional cover or something. So I basically just copied that idea for my model, but you can't see it that good in the actual render because it is relatively small and it has the same color as the shoe. So I could have either recolored that one or just kept it as it is and have it as a visual detail that you don't see that well, which I'm fine with. So I just left it because otherwise it would have maybe been too much detail. The very thing, so I made a sketch, I think back in the week, Friday or Thursday, for this, and the sketch actually like had a cutout for the toes as well. But whenever I worked on the model, I decided I'm going to keep the toes closed off. Yeah. The edge is relatively simple. You saw that. It's really just a copy. It's really just a cylinder cut up, and then use the extrusion tool to wave it around the shoe. Relatively happy. It was relatively simple. So I'm actually getting better at the whole process. I'm actually getting faster at the whole process because now that I know basically all the tools, on 90% of the tools, it is so much easier, so much quicker to just work on these details. So really it just comes down to get acquainted with the tools and then do it again and again and again, and you will at some point get some details working. Yeah. The bridge I'm currently building is made is for the lights, and while I was working on this, the whole thing crashed one time. So there's a bit of a cut here in a sec, but this was a minor incident, mainly because when I worked on the form, I had some overlap with the faces. They were clipping with itself, and this caused the whole thing to collapse. So I had to do this manually by hand, and now you can see that I just worked on it normally. Yeah, lastly I did the UV maps, and relatively simple, worked relatively well, wasn't that big of a problem, so I'm really happy with how the whole thing turned out. Looks quite well, looks quite okay. I'm really happy. Detail is on the level that I liked. Actually, in this video I forgot to put on the insignia. Basically, just when I loaded it into Daz, I was like, oh wait, I forgot to put in the insignia, and I loaded it up, copied, pasted it in, and this is why I don't have it in the actual video, because I just forgot about it. But I saw it in Daz Studio, and then I got back to it. Yeah, speaking of Daz Studio, this is where we are. You can see I'm just grabbing the weight mapping tool. It took me about 10 minutes to finish the whole thing here. Yeah, I'm just weight mapping basically the heel and the toes, so that the whole issue is clean, and that the whole wedge heel works out fine. And yeah, I thought about the wedge heel being glass or gold or something else, so yeah. And you can see that I'm copy pasting the whole materials on, so that it looks the same, that it has the same materials as the rest of the model. Yeah, glass here, and then I chose gold instead. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you like it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you guys around.